time and attention.
Okay.
We have two agendas today. The first one is the annual organizational meeting we're required to hold, and the second one is the regular monthly meeting for July. So I'll call to order the organizational meeting, the agenda for which was circulated to you as part of the information. I also sent around a proposed mechanism for working our way through this. The first item on the agenda is the election of officers. The first position is the office of chair. I've considered that to be a nomination of me, and I'll need a second with respect to it.
Second.
Been seconded. Floor is open for any other nominations. Seeing or hearing none, we'll consider the Thomas Richards elected the chair. Vice chair. I sent you an explanation of that in the material, and I'm going to nominate Sean Farr as vice chair of the board. I'll need a second. There's been a second. The field is open for further nominations. Seeing or hearing none, then Sean is the vice chair. You're on a heck of a trajectory here, Sean. Yeah. 2 more elections like this, you'll be back in Vermont, right? Treasurer for the third office is, and I would nominate Kim Jones as the treasurer. We need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The floor is open for any nominations. Seeing or hearing none, Kim Jones will be the treasurer of the board. Appointments, the appointment of the by the chair of the board clerk and records access officer. We continue to employ Kim Mitchell for that position. Committee assignments. I circulated some suggested nominations for the committees. This is the understanding here is that every member of the board is invited to any committee meeting. It is help, and there'll be a couple probably as we get into the year where we will make a real point of inviting everybody because some of the detail work gets done there. In addition to that, if you want to be a member of a committee that I'm not placing you on here, we're happy to have you serve on more than one. With that understanding, the appointments that were suggested in the note that was sent to you is for the MWBE and Services Procurement Committee. The chair will be Rich Perrin, members Jesse Dudley and Mike Schmidt. For the Finance Committee, the chair Kim Jones, members Sean Farr and Ron Guthrie.
Gaither, yes, thank you.
That completes the items of nomination and assignment. Are there any other questions or comments with respect to that? Hi. Okay, action items. Kim circulated to all of you the proposed meeting schedule for the upcoming year. That is in the material that was circulated. Any questions or comments about it? Hearing or seeing none, then we'll entertain a motion to adopt the schedule.
So moved.
It's been moved, and so to consider that a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It'll stand approved. The last item on this part of the agenda that is the budget for next year that was put together by Kim. Obviously, this is not going to hold for the whole year. We we would assume that the project manager is going to be approved here soon. And then the project manager will be assigned the responsibility for putting together the budget. But Kim and I felt that it was a good idea to have something we're starting with here. So we get our basic expenses for operating the board down on paper and pay attention to them until we get the complete budget. If everything goes as intended, which is the last approval for the program manager will be in July. And therefore we should be in a position, hopefully, to have a budget put together in August and in September. And a real one that reflects actually doing literal amounts of work. So this is a placeholder for that for really the next couple of months. But, you know, we need to have the principles important and that's the reason it was done. Any questions or comments about it? Hearing or seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget as submitted.
So moved.
So
Been
moved,
moved.
yes.
Give that a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
It stands approved. Kim sent to you the code of ethics policy and the confidential agreement that we have to enter into annually. Those both require execution to be signed by each board member. Those of you who are here, if you're in a position to sign them and leave them with Rick, as I have done, that's great. People who are on the phone, please make sure you send those in. Kim will harass you if you don't, because we really do. This is one of the things we need to have in our record. It's not different. It's the same as we've been using in the past, but we need to confirm it every year. We will get, we are required and will get some sexual harassment training. That's training that last year we were able to get our council to provide to us, and we'll do it at one of the early meetings, so it isn't cumulative in terms of what's required, but needs to be done. And we'll schedule it here in the next couple of months. That concludes the organizational meeting. Any other items to come before that meeting? Seeing or hearing none, then that meeting is adjourned and we'll move to the monthly meeting agenda, the regular monthly meeting agenda. The first item of business is the monthly meeting minutes for June 12th. They were in the packet that was submitted to you. Any comments or questions about the minutes? Seeing or hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve them. So it's been moved. We need a second.
A second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Again, any questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
They'll stand approved. The requisition for monthly expenditures, Kim Jones.
Yep. Okay, so the pay requisition for July, payment to 100 Carlson Road LLC for $5,833.52. Payment to Bond, Shonik and King for $2,989. Payment to CNC Miraculous Cleaning Services for $600. Payment to Canon Design for $158,796.97. Payment to Charter Communications for $118.91. Payment to Occasional Elegance for $14,425.04. Payment to Trinity Ventures Engineering for $14,100. Payment to US Bank for $950. And lastly, a payment to Watts Architecture and Engineering for $27,842.55. Any questions? Okay, I'll move it to the board for approval.
It's been moved by the committee. We need a second for its approval.
Second.
A second. Any comments or questions? We're obviously working our way at a inflection point here, hopefully within the next 30 days. That is that the program manager will be on site and will take over this responsibility, at least some of it. And we'll have to actually be coming up with a mechanism which we can fund the next portion of the work. The work being done by the architects who were hired for this purpose is winding down. They're going to be finished here shortly, and that material is being shared shortly with the district. That'll be the first element of the plan that the program manager picks up and goes to financing with. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The next item here is the deduct amendment for Canon Design. There are three. This is the settlement with Canon Design over the claim we made for various errors and omissions in their work as the architect and engineer for East. We've already reviewed that. You've approved the number, but what you're getting here are the documents that actually describe and solidify the settlement. There's sort of three parts to that. One part is the actual agreement itself, settlement agreement. This is dedicated to showing that any good lawyer can make a simple thing complicated. The other item that's here is the amendment to the contract, which is what we're actually voting on here. And that again is the item that you have already approved the amount of. The good news here is this is the last open item. With this item, we should be able to, or the district rather, should be able to close out phase 2. And because everything else is their form, right? So that's the good news. And this produces about another it produces $200,000, which can be applied to reduce the debt.
Can you remind me, this is President Elliott speaking, can you remind me of what was the issue with Canon Design, please, Chairman?
Yes, it was a combination of things. As the work wore on, we became increasingly concerned that there were too many changes in this job. Too much stuff that was not done properly the first time around, and it was causing us money to go back and redo it or to do it right in the first place. With any job like this, particularly, where we're doing a renovation job, you're going to have changes. That's understandable because you can't know all of what you're dealing with until you get there and deal with it. But the feeling here was that in this particular case, we were having problems with the number of changes. So we kept track of it through the entire project. And when the project was finished, we sat down with them and said, look, and had the material to share with them. There have just been too many changes here. And we've incurred a certain amount of expense because of that, which we think is unreasonable. There was there were lawsuits started over it. And there was a protracted negotiation and a mediation to resolve it. And it was eventually resolved by their giving up really, but providing $200,000 as a settlement. So that's what.
So they're no longer one of our vendors, are they?
No, although we didn't disqualify them, and that to disqualify a bidder, and as you know, I'm sure in the municipal bidding is a long and difficult process. So they could, I suppose, bid on some of the work that's done in phase 3, and we'd have to deal with, whether we think that's a good thing if and when that happens. but they're no longer working on the project. No, they're done.
All right, thank you.
Okay, other questions or comments? If not, you're being asked to approve the amendment, which is the deduct amendment for Canon Design. That was in the packet of material that was sent with you. I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Been moved and I'll consider that a second. Comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Okay, the last action item we have in here is the authorization to release the ICO RFP. How we doing, Jesse?
We're doing good. We got an okay from it's going, I believe it should be moved to the state for their review. Want to review it, I thought. Is Kim still on?
Kim? Kim Mitchell, I should say.
Yes. I did send the RFP and the final revision, including the corrections or suggestions from the board council to Jaime for review. So as soon as Jaime, you have those for us back, if you have any comments, we can plan to send it out. The schedule that is currently in there has a release date of July 12th. So we do have a day pretty much that we can still release that. Excuse me.
By tomorrow.
Okay, great. Well, if you could, I mean,
Yep.
we can move that date if we had to. Okay, that's where we are. So I think what I'd like to do then, let's do it this way. Let's entertain a motion from the committee, Jesse's committee, to approve and issue the RFP for the ICO, subject to the SED monitor's approval.
I'll move that.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Thanks for all the work on this, guys. I mean, I know this is, your reward will be in heaven, but
No, our reward is getting it.
getting it done, yeah, I suppose that's the other way to look at it, but these are the two principal contracts we have to get in place to get through the approval. And so it is important. It is important. I say two, the program manager and this one. Okay, that gets us to some non-action items here that we need to review. The fund balance report, Kim Mitchell. Kim is dialing in. I don't know if you all know, but Kim went on vacation to New Orleans and got COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, she seems to be okay over there, but she's not, acting as a spreader by attending the meeting. As I told Kim, New Orleans is famous for being able to catch stuff, so maybe you should have picked another place to go.
Well, I'm thankful it was just COVID.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. I suppose that's right.
We'll want to see
Anyway.
what that does.
Well, maybe you can lead us through the fund balance report.
Oh, all right, certainly, Chairman Richards. Excuse me. So for East, we are showing still the balance to Canon at 159,297. The district-wide, and that will come off as that you saw on the pay rec summary for this month. District-wide technologies, $4,820,124. It's unchanged from last month. Forbes is $18,023, and that is also from last month. The Attorney General settlement, $330,648. The CPL E&O settlement is $205,421. The final Canon settlement is $200,000 for a total of $5,733,513 for the overall fund balance. The RCSD loan balance is $958,558. We are showing 2 open contracts that are for Bond Schoenig and King for $24,196.81, and the Canon Architect 5 for $159,296.97. That is a total of $183,493.78. The current pay requisition is for US Bank for $950. The settlement for Canon Design for $158,796.97. You see that it has a remaining balance of $500, which represents an unused allowance amount that will be reflected in the east line on the next fund ledger report. So that is a total of $159,746.97. From the RCSD loan, we have Trinity Ventures Engineering PLLC for $14,100. Occasional Elegance LLC, DBA Ujuzi for $14,425.04. 100 Carlson Road, Rent and Utilities for $5,833.52. CNC Miraculous Cleaning for $600. Charter Communications for $118.91. Bond Schoenig and King for $2,989. And Watts Engineering for $27,842.55. for a total of $65,909.02. And that leaves balances of $330,648 for the RJSCB fund balance, $5,156,241 in the bond fund, $405,421 in the settlement fund. That brings a combined program balance of $5,892,310 and $892,649 in the RCSD loan balance.
Kim, in the, when you and Rick are working with the district, is that now that we don't have any open issues, by that I mean issues that require further negotiation or resolution? I take it that these items that are on the top here, other than the ones that we retain, like the settlement or the Attorney General item, those will all just be washed out as you work with the district to get to the final number here?
The overall fund balance for the schools is going to be a matter of decision for the district on what they want to do with that. And we will reflect on here the settlement or the Attorney General settlement amount of $330,648, the RCSD loan balance of $958,558. All of the pay recs will be paid from those balances.
All right. And the everything else here will wash out in the closeout process, basically.
That's correct.
One reason I didn't mention this before, but in the Canon Design situation, we did discuss this, but it's been a while. The reason for these numbers coming through here in 2 different sets is that we had withheld payment from Canon at the end, and we had withheld more than the $200,000. And there were also some other invoices that had come in afterwards for work that they did legitimately do. So when we settled it, we retained $200,000 and the remaining amount is paid to them. That's why you see someone getting paid here. That's why they're getting paid, because they're owed this money. It's less than they would have been entitled to otherwise by the settlement amount. Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, couple of updates that we have here. One of them is the Watts update. Watts is the company, the engineering company, architect and engineering company that is doing the first element of the comprehensive plan process. They are essentially done with what we have contracted with them to do. That is being discussed with the district now to make sure that it's what's in there is what the district intended for to be there. There undoubtedly will be some further work to do, but the initial go through and the report itself is in draft form. So that's you know, that's probably not going to get released until the fall, because it's really dependent on the district getting their educational plan done and being in a position to publicly announce what they're going to do with the various schools. We got to be a little careful here. We don't want to be the ones who, you know, who make that announcement. It's not for us to decide. So that work will probably slow down a little bit now while the rest of it gets done. But the good news is it's done. It's ready to go. When the program manager shows up and the district makes their decisions, we're off to the races in terms of the second part of the plan. Second part of the plan is the financing. There are two parts to it. One is the identification of the schools to be modernized, the budgets with respect to what work is to be done, and the budget with respect to how much it's going to cost so that it's manageable. And then the total financing package for the entire project. That all goes to the comptroller and has to get approved. And their requirements are quite specific. So, you know, it'll take some substantial work to get it done.
Chairman Richards, I'm just always concerned about prices going up in the environment in which we live now, and you know, just how much work we're going to be able to get done, given that if we see some steep increases in, you know, various services. I know here at Community Place, you know, we started off at one of our facilities. I think it was maybe 190,000 job, and it ended up being around 300,000. So I'm just kind of mindful of that what we may intend to plan to do, we may not be able to afford it. So it may have to reduce what we, yeah. So that's right. my concern.
I'm worried about it too. I mean, I think that overall, the construction basket of costs have gone up at least 20% since this original plan was put in place to get the legislation. It slowed down a little bit, but it didn't go back. One helpful thing with respect to it is that the estimates that the Watts people are doing are contemporaneous. They're being done now, and they include an escalation that would reflect the actual experience people are having now. But you're right. We're not going to be able to get all the work we originally. I mean, I think the answer to that is we're not going to be able to get it all done. And so there'll be some choices to be made here about what it is we can afford.
Mm-hmm.
But the numbers that you're seeing now from Watts are pretty good in terms of being accurate today. Okay. The next item of information is the PM project manager approval. That has gone through the school district. Thank you, President Elliott, and been approved. It went to the finance committee of the city council last week. And when is the board meeting again, Kim Jones?
It's on the 18th.
So hopefully Kim and I, who were present for that presentation, so was Rich, didn't mess it up, and it'll get approved on the 18th.
It will certainly get approved.
So, yeah, we didn't get any resistance. I mean, it was a generally cooperative, and that's important because, as you know, this particular project has a lot of work that requires cooperation between the city and the district. And while there are some issues there, it's important not to get those issues confused in the middle of this and slow it down. And nobody did that. So, you know, I was a little bit relieved by that.
And I'd really like to thank you, Chairman Richards, because I think you did a wonderful job of presenting the information. It was in plain language, which City Council really appreciated.
Well, you're ruining my reputation as a lawyer by saying that.
Well,
Thank you for leaving the legalese out of it.
Chairman, let me just also add to that. I appreciate your presentation to the Finance Committee of the whole at the district. I think there may have been some questions, but you did a wonderful job, and I certainly do appreciate that.
Thanks. Well, that's nice of you to say, but as I keep reminding people, this is a very good deal for the city of Rochester.
Mhm.
And you know, we're talking about $470 million here. And we shouldn't mess it up. You know, it's really a wonderful, wonderful commitment to the district. So. Okay, I think that concludes all of the items that are on the official agenda. Are there other items to come before us?
I would just like anyone who would like to join me in wishing Chairman Richards a belated happy birthday.
Oh,
Birthday this week.
Happy belated birthday.
happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
I've noticed lately that most of my birthdays are belated. More and more every year, man. Okay, on that note, thank you very much, folks. We'll stand adjourned.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Great job. Thank you.